50 States of Terror may include content unsuitable for young audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Content warnings will be included in the show notes. Hello, world, and welcome to another episode of 50 States of Terror. This is going to be a very special episode. This is Women's History Month appreciation episode. Yes, I know I am late with this episode. Hey, my life got in the way. I got super busy. I wish I could do this full time, so I wouldn't have to be late on these episodes. But I do owe you this, all the listeners out there. This is going to be a list of notable women within the field of cryptozoology. And I'm excited because this is going to be a wonderful, shining light on these wonderful researchers from the earliest is the early 19th century, which is phenomenal when you think about it. And yeah, I do appreciate everybody listening right now. Again, this is 50 States of Terror. I am your host, Anthony Diaz, and let's get on with it, man. Yeah, today's has been a pretty, I think it's a pretty chill day. My kids are home from school. I'm working from home today. So I wanted to have some peace. They're all doing their things on their devices, so the door is closed and I'm recording this episode. So let's get started. Let's get started. And this is going to be in alphabetical order by last name. I found all these on the cryptozoological Wikipedia page of notable researchers. And yeah, let's start this off, baby. Let's do this. First we have Ida Arney. Ida Arney is a researcher, and she researched the mugwump, a well-known lake monster. Now, she is an author. Her pen name is Alice Pieper. You did hear that correctly, Alice Pieper. And she has many aliases as well. Two of them are Dr. Pablo von McDowell and Mary Wollstonecraft Sheltie. And I do think that's a nod to Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein. So yeah, that is pretty cool. Next, we have Janet Board. Janet is part of a husband and wife duo paranormal team. Authored a book called Alien Animals, A Worldwide Investigation. And when I saw this name and I saw the husband and wife paranormal team, I immediately went to the Warrens. They are inspiration for the movies The Conjuring and Annabelle. Their paranormal team, super spooky stuff. The Conjuring still gives me nightmares sometimes. Yeah, there's a couple of scenes where I'm like, nope, Scotia, man, hell no. You see, next we have Maya Bakova. And Maya Bakova is the Russian authority on Bigfoot lore and research. Let's see, she graduated from Moscow Agriculture Academy in 1955, and since 1972 has organized many expeditions to the research of Bigfoot. She's authored 3 books, and in 1972 cited a creature called the McKinney, which is now known, can be described now as a Yeti. And going through this research, I was pretty... so far, even with the first couple of names, I was trying to dig up as much as I could on these names, and a lot of them I just came up short. Either they had a small little blip of information on maybe a website here or there, but trying to find the real research of these cryptozoologists, I couldn't find anything. For most of them, I can find, the author page or their small little biography, but trying to get what they did to the community, and like trying to pinpoint like all of the events and all that stuff. Very, very difficult. So I do plan to have a part two to this, because I do want to pick maybe one or two and do a special like side episode on just spotlighting a cryptozoologist and what they've done to the community. I do want to do that, and one of them by far I want to do is Maya Bakova. It's her whole entire life just sounded phenomenal when I did the research on her. But yeah, let's move on. Let's see. We got Janice Carter. Janice Carter is a Bigfoot researcher. Next on the list is Ann Richardson Davis. She is an American cryptozoologist and author of The Tale of the Altamaha Monster. If you remember, on one of our episodes for Georgia, we did the Altamaha Monster, and it was a plesiosaur monster type thing. And yeah, she's credited for writing a book about it. It's phenomenal. I do want to pick that book up. Next is Marjorie H. Halpin, another author. Man-like Monsters on Trial, Early Records and Modern Evidence. Let's see. Next, we have Marie Janine Kaufman. Oh, excuse me. Dr. Marie Janine Kaufman. She is another Russian Bigfoot researcher. And when I was doing the research on her, I did find that a lot of Russian researchers kind of pinpoint their findings and their research towards Bigfoot. It's not like they're trying to look for mountain giants or things like that. It is pinpointed on Bigfoot or the Yeti, which I found very interesting, by the way. I don't know if there's a lack of different type of cryptids in Russia, but the fact that they're all pointing the way to Bigfoot is right up my alley. Next is Jennifer Marshall. She is a co-host for Mysteries Decoded, another Bigfoot show. Next is Adrian Mayer. And Adrian Mayer is a known skeptic. You'll find that even if you are a skeptic, your research plays into the community of cryptozoology, because, much like other researchers and the scientific community in general, you have to have that other parallel in order to validate what you're doing to your research, and to have these skeptics, do their thing and say, well, this doesn't sound right. This is not true. I'm going to do my own research, and then we're going to collaborate to find an answer, because, who knows? Maybe the skeptic is just a complete skeptic and be like, no, these things cannot possibly exist. Or one who is, well, it's plausible. I am going to stick to my guns and say no, but as a research scientific mind, I'm going to do my due diligence, and we're going to collaborate on this thing, and then we're going to come up with an answer. She authored a book, Fossil Legends of the First Americans. Next is Karen Mutton. She is an Australian archaeologist. She is primarily a hominid researcher. Next is Myra Shackley, a British Bigfoot. Sorry, words today. She's a British Bigfoot skeptic. Authored Wild Man, Yeti, Sasquatch, and the Neanderthal Enigma. I did see that on Amazon, and I am going to probably pick it up. This sounds fascinating. Next is Kathy Masowitz-Strain. She is an anthropologist, another Bigfoot researcher. Next is Mary Sutherland. She is a UFOologist and giant researcher. Now, this is the one where I was really wanting to get more information on, because the fact that it's a giant researcher, for those who don't know, in the cryptozoological world, giants is one of those cryptids that have historical lore and reference as well, because they're mentioned in the Bible. They're mentioned in a lot of other texts, and the belief of these huge humanoid creatures walking around is wonderful. And even in today I have seen more TikTok videos about huge humanoid giants walking around in the mountainsides than I've ever seen. And I've seen those YouTube videos, and I've seen those hoaxes as well, because there are those out there. Excuse me. The ones that have the fake archaeological sites, the planted materials, and then the the fake pictures and the doctored photos. Yeah, I've seen all of those, but there are one or two that slide through that just really make you think that these humanoids could have walked the earth, and they even featured on modern video games like Red Dead Redemption. There's this side thing where you can find a cave and you find the remains of a giant. Love it, absolutely love it. And last, but certainly not least, is Odette Tekernen, who is a British author and cryptozoologist. Yes. So yeah, those are some of the notable women researchers, also skeptics within the community of cryptozoology. It's completely fascinating, and it really does put a perspective on different cultures, especially the Russian-born ones who are looking for Bigfoot in Russia, and the time frame too. Because if you think about it, the expeditions in Russia from Maya Bakova started since 1972, and this was a couple years after the famous Sasquatch video that came out. So it must have spread like wildfire, and I never knew this. I never knew that this creature was so popular in Russia, and it just makes you want to think like what other influences of that Bigfoot video made on different countries, especially when we think about other very mountainous areas, like I don't know, the hills of Japan or in China, or I don't know, Switzerland. It really does make me think like what if there was this Bigfoot craze that happened after that video, you know? Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And again, I do plan on picking a couple of these wonderful women researchers, and I want to do a complete deep dive on their work. Maybe a little difficult, and it may be postponed for later episodes, but I do want to have spotlights on some of the notable ones, especially the one I really want to do one besides Maya is Mary Sutherland, who was the UFOologist and giant researcher. I really want to know what she found. So yeah, I am ecstatic. So thank you all for listening. Again, my name is Anthony Diaz. You can listen on all of your favorite streaming platforms, Apple, Spotify, you name it, we're there. Okay, I'll do my shameless plugs now. You can find the show on Facebook and Instagram at 50 States of Terror. You can find the show on Twitter at 50 States Terror without the of, because of the character limitations. You can find the show on TikTok at the 50 SOT podcast. And you can find me at Corporal Ziggy USMC, that's CPO ZIGGY USMC, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. Yeah. Oh, and also on TikTok. Yeah, you can do all my writing stuff, all that good stuff. And also, you can find the show on Patreon if you would like to contribute a couple bucks to keep the lights on, keep the equipment running. you can go on patreon.com/50 States of Terror. And once again, thank you all for listening. I do appreciate, everybody who tunes in. Stay tuned for next episode of our regularly scheduled 50 States of Terror. We're gonna deep dive into another state. And yeah, thank you all for listening. Later.